Nicholas from Yorkshire, 7 this year.
I've quite a lot of fun when I find it. I always like to wait till someone... You better watch out for me, because as soon as you're not looking, I like to dash up and put my hands in front and hit them against your back. I like to find out all about the moon and all that.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I don't want to answer that. I don't answer those kind of questions. They'd like to come out for a holiday in the country when I like to have a holiday in the town.
No, I've been to Leeds a couple of times, and I haven't been to Manchester. I went to London with the other when you did the first programme, but that's the only time I've been.
Nicholas won a scholarship to a Yorkshire boarding school.
In this village, there's me, and then the next oldest is Andrew there. That's it. I'm not unhappy. I'm not living on the farm and going to the school and boarding there. Right, it's all right. I think it'd be better than living on the farm all the time. I wouldn't like to live at the school all the time either.
Do you want to take up farming?
No. I don't think my father wants me to be a farmer. And my youngest brother, the deaf one, if he can't do anything else, he can probably run a farm. If he can't, it's it. But as a last resort...
Would you like to have a girlfriend?
I thought that one would come up because when I was doing the other one, somebody said, "What do you think about girls?" And I said, "I don't answer questions like that." Is that the reason you're asking it? Yeah, I thought so. No, what do you want me to say? I don't know what to say.
The best answer would be to say that I don't answer questions like that, but I mean, it was what I said when I was 7, and it's still the most sensible, but I mean, what about them?
Well, you seemed at 14 very shy of the whole sexual life. Has that changed?
I've tried to make a change, yes. Very definite, conscious effort not to be shy and to be more outgoing. And this is actually something I can point to in my own past and think, yes, I did make my mind up here, and here that I was going to try and change this, and this being basically my confidence and my sort of approach to, well, this is to people in general. I'd be able to get somebody to will you explain this thing to me again?
Nicholas is now in his 2nd year at Oxford University.
Well, I'm trying to be a physicist, to fill in the detail of whenever you meet somebody at university, the standard question is, where are you and what you're doing? And my answer is, I'm at Merton College and I'm doing physics.
I'm doing that till it doesn't move up and down, just rotates.
Okay.
Then you can bang it in.
We'll give it a whirl.
So what career are you going to pursue?
It depends whether I'll be good enough to do what I want to really do. I would like, if I can, to do research.
Are there any disadvantages in coming from a small place like this and preparing yourself for Oxford?
Well, it's a rather different background to go anywhere, Oxford, perhaps especially. It is rather more firm foundation, I would have thought, as to your character, perhaps character, than being brought up in a city. It's a fixed reference point in a sense, that sort of earthy life and death cycle that you get living on a farm. So when something dies, it rots and feeds back into the earth. And sometimes it's helpful in a city where things that some people are very concerned about seem quite irrelevant.
Is there any strength of your father as a farmer that you think he's transmitted to you?
Well, you get a certain sort of calmness in some situations, you know.
He is now in America, an assistant professor at the University of Wisconsin, earning $30,000 a year.
The gas in these experiments is at a temperature comparable with that of the sun, whereas in a power reactor it would be maybe 10 times the temperature of the sun. And we're trying to induce that gas to fuse. And the fusion reaction gives off energy and produces the power that would be turned into electrical energy and sent out to the consumer.
How hot is it in there?
In there, it's at about 10 million degrees.
Nick is a nuclear physicist. He is using these high temperatures to fuse atoms, to try to produce energy which is free from radioactivity.
Have to be precisely coordinated with the plasma decay.
I finished my degree in physics and I went on to do a PhD. And having got the PhD, so it took 2.5 years to get that, which was relatively quick, I went to work at the United Kingdom Atomic Energy Authority's Culham Laboratory, which is where they do fusion research. And that is what I've been aiming to do throughout my PhD. But I found when I got there that I got a big shock when I found that my standard of living went down when I started work. So when some people here offered me a job, and I thought this might be a good opportunity to go somewhere else where the research environment was a bit more vigorous. So I came here in November of 1982 into a blizzard. The university is substantially different from an English university for several reasons. It's a much bigger university. Oxford had 10,000 people, this has 40,000 people.
Nick was only 17 when I first met him, and I knew he was a nice person. I find him very attractive, and he uses his intelligence in his relationship with me, which is very important. A lot of people can be very bright.
Nick and Jackie met when they were students at Oxford. Jackie is doing a postgraduate course in business studies.
And Nick does.
And what about you, Nick? Why did you marry Jackie?
Because I find her attractive, she's bright and independent, and...
I mean, if you'd been somebody who had fixed ideas of a woman's role in marriage that meant dinner on the table at 6 every evening...
didn't I tell you about that?
I think we would have had problems, or if one of us had not wanted children.
Where did you get all this brain power?
All this brain power? I don't know. Did it just happen? All this brain power? That's a hard one to answer, because first I have to accept that I've got all this brain power. And that's not the sort of thing I tend to go around saying. But I've always been interested in, from a very early age, in technical or scientific things. When I was very young, I had a big picture book about the planets, and I thought this was wonderful. And I've just been interested in that sort of thing and reading technical or scientific material for a long, long time. It's an exciting place to be. There's a lot going on in terms of research and other things, but I really came here to do research. But there are more opportunities and just a general feeling of more going on than I had previously. The place is less hidebound, it's less bureaucratically tied down. So it's much easier to go out and get things done than in England.
The first one is basically saying that the rate of change of crystal momentum, it's ddt of this quantity h bar k, that is equal to the Lorentz force.
He is now an associate professor at the university. Is Madison a friendly place?
Yeah, very friendly. It's a fairly small little community, and you get deer and things running through here, so it's kind of nice. You know, you notice if you walk into a shop here, or a store as they would call it, people are much more polite to you than they are in England. And it's not, it's not just a matter of being obsequious, they just try and be reasonably friendly and smile at you.
They drift apart. There are so many pressures on people.
People saw the last film and thought, this marriage isn't going to work, this marriage isn't going to last. Did you get that response?
Well, it's actually such a mystery to me what they thought they were talking about that I really just don't relate to it at all. I just don't know why they said that. I mean, the sorts of things that you were seeing, it was us trying to be very honest about it. And that may have been the
place in 28 where we probably were working hardest about really describing what things were like, instead of, I was just saying, I sometimes just am very dull and neutral and don't show too much of myself. Well, in that, I think we were just trying to be really upfront and say, this is what it's like, and we're working very hard at it, and hopefully it'll work out. If that sounds to somebody like it's in jeopardy, well, that's their problem.
And my youngest brother, the deaf one, if he can't do anything else, he can probably run a farm. If he can't...
You can't, well, he can't hear essentially at all, so you can't really have a conversation with him on the phone. He'll get on the phone and he'll tell you a bunch of stuff and you can understand most of it, so that's really nice.
Is it painful for you?
Well, the thing that was emotional to think back on was the situation when he was probably a year old, and it was really becoming clear to everybody that despite the fact that his doctor had originally insisted no, he wasn't deaf, that it became pretty clear that he was. And, you know, at the time, I just sort of desperately was hoping it wouldn't be true, you know, that somehow, you know, some sort of miracle would happen and he would turn out not to be so. But then I told myself, well, if he weren't, then he wouldn't be the same person, and it would be wishing that the person didn't exist. So, you know, that wasn't the appropriate way to think about it. I always wanted to have an impact, to do something useful that was actually going to benefit people. I had this vision of people in ivory towers being cut off, doing stuff all their lives and having no effect on anybody whatsoever, and that was absolutely not what I wanted to do. And so I chose to go into this fusion business because I thought this would have a huge impact. Well, this is Arncliffe School, which is where my brother and I went to school from age 5 to 10. And there's the church where we were all christened and everything, and used to go to harvest festivals and things there.
What did you learn here, do you think, that you've carried with you?
Well, you just look at this place, I mean, it's utterly beautiful, but not beautiful in a sort of pretty, cutesy way. I think of it as being magnificent, but rather grim, really. I sort of feel as if you could look deep somewhere inside me. I feel like there's some of this in there somewhere, and it's rather dour, but just a wonderful. It's very uncompromising, and sometimes it's rather tragic, but you know, it's makes other places you go seem rather trivial as well. I'm just enormously proud of having come from here, and the people around, you know, the idea of being a Dales person is really terribly important to me. What you see that's so magnificent are the clouds sweeping by all the time, air and cloud and water continually sweeping over you. I mean, there's a poetic side to that. You know, I would be looking at these and thinking now, how does a cloud work? And when you come down to it, what I do when I'm trying to solve equations, it's the same equations that describe clouds and water and air flowing around. So from a scientific point of view, I relate back to this sort of thing.
There's SSIs, there's ESAs, there's LFAs.
It's hard being away from your roots, isn't it?
Terribly hard. I mean, it's hard in lots and lots of ways. I mean, if you go to an alien culture, you don't know what's going on around you half the time. It's really strange to go to a different country. People don't send out the same signals.
Look, I could try and... It's frightening. It's frightening.
It's very hard to imagine being able to come back here, and I think about it a lot, but I haven't seen the way to do it yet. In some sense, it never really belonged to me. I mean, part of me would love to own a stake in it, but I really don't own any of it. But the other thing is that I've had to move out of here, and I think that the way the world is, it's very hard to stay in one place. People are forced to move constantly. The history of this century has a lot of examples where people moved or should have moved, and professionally and in lots of other ways, it's really important that people are always thinking about what's happening around them and how they have to react to it.
beauty's transient, so maybe we can come by here and visit it. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be permitted to be here very much.
Over the years, Nick's research hit trouble, and by 49, he's had to abandon it because the containers needed to store the hot gases couldn't be developed. Was there a moment when you realized that all you'd been doing wasn't going to work out?
I think it was more gradual. I didn't want to admit it for quite a while. I mean, I really believed in it. It was a huge letdown.
So the area that I'm looking at is this times this.
I don't know why I have a compulsion to teach, really. It was just always there in me. I just wanted to do it. I thought I'd be good at it. When I go into a classroom full of undergraduates, I try and explain to them why they might want to try and do it. That's my little attempt to open a little door for them.
So I'm hoping that you will remember me being very stupid and going, ow, there's arrows coming out of here. Can we do that? Any chance of that? Okay.
They can get information from a book. I have to keep them awake and make the information a bit more interesting than a book.
I'm doomed to do this over and over and over. Okay, well, I didn't even know it was happening, so it was interesting because, you know...
Nobody's ever said that I was a typical engineer.
Of course they don't. They don't.
The undergraduates tell jokes about engineers, and the only one I can repeat to you is, how can you tell if an engineer is an extrovert? And the answer is, he looks at your shoes when he's talking to you.
Even though he's clearly a megastar, it's like...
Somebody came up with a theory recently that a lot of scientists and mathematicians are just borderline autistic. I could easily be borderline autistic, you know. I don't quite get how other people feel about things sometimes, you know.
His wife Jackie also taught at the university, and they had a son, Adam. 6 years ago, they divorced.
Well, it was incredibly hard. What I concluded, and I've talked to other people about this who've gone through it, I'm not sure if they feel it as strongly as I did, but it was like a death.
Anything could happen. We could easily drift apart. There are so many pressures on people.
If your spouse died, you could look back and think, well, it was wonderful while it lasted. But in a divorce, you can't look back and say, these are all happy memories. It wasn't my decision. She went to England. Her father was ill. By the time she landed, he died, and when she came back, it was like a different person came back. Was I responsible? I could have been braver about some things, but if I'd been braver, it might have ended sooner.
You can talk to me by myself outside, but I'll just meet you by the garage, okay? All right, bye.
It's enormously hard to deal with. The worst part of it was seeing how it would affect my son.
How old was he?
10. When he was first told, he was terribly, terribly upset. And then he just pulled himself together and didn't want to talk about it anymore. He's made the most of it. I mean, the best of it. Made the best that he can of it, I guess.
Take it easy, Adam. Main thing is not to crash.
Really? You don't want me to crash right now?
How do you deal with it now?
He doesn't talk to me about it very much at all. He's a private person. It's very, very hard for me to be spending a large part of my time with him not around.
Hey, Graham. What you doing?
I had to go to a graduation. One of my students was getting his PhD, and he insisted I go there with him. And I looked around, and the person behind me was Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Who is my new wife.
I'm okay.
Did you fall in love quickly?
Immediately.
Except that you decided that if I couldn't find you, I failed the test.
I decided it was his work to find me. We did shake hands at the end of graduation, stood up and said who we were, but he immediately forgot. He couldn't remember who I was.
I decided, okay, I know who she is, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, so I forgot. I mean, that's very me. she came down to the student union to meet me, and, you know, I barely knew what she looked like. I looked at her, I thought, I guess that's her. And I sort of just looked, did this, and she did the same. She just did a mirror image of that gesture, and I thought, I can't explain what that was, but I just felt very strongly drawn to her by that little gesture.
And there was no way I would say no to being married to this man. I wanted to be with him. Has he changed my life dramatically? Have I changed as a person? I hope so.
It will give them a push. I don't mean to be superficial, but I think she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Is he sexy?
Oh, man. Absolutely. Didn't you have fun with that one?
Graham was very good about the ducks. The ducks were...
I only have one child, Courtney, and he only has one child. There's a symmetry with that.
Would you ever have wanted a child of your own, the two of you?
Well, absolutely. But it's not exactly practical, so we're just...
No.
It's frightening. It's frightening.
My parents are alive. They've both had very significant health issues. My father keeps pointing out that old age isn't for sissies.
Oh, I'm feeling. You need a secretary.
Nick has two younger brothers back in England, Andrew and Christopher.
Christopher, the deaf one, got divorced, and he reported to my mother that if Nicky can do it, then so can I. So that changed.
Are you missing England?
I always miss England. I was really not the sort of person who should ever have moved very far. I believe that it's a historical fact that there were quite a lot of students were massacred in the Middle Ages, and when I came here I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. But I was under an awful lot of stress all the time I was here, trying to succeed in this place as well. Okay, yes, so this was my staircase in my first year and also on my third year. There was this fella who lived in the room next door to me, and he came in one day to tell me some story. And on his way out he said, you know, I don't associate intelligence with your accent. We don't get over to England very often, and so you can count on one hand how many times you're going to see your family before somebody dies. And that's getting more and more pressing every time we come. You know, so yeah, this is tricky.
How are they doing?
Not well. They're very old. Yeah, I don't really want to elaborate on that, and you know.
But it's full of emotion, all this.
It's all the stuff that we repress as hard as we can, isn't it? But, yeah, it really is. I'm looking at these names, who they all are, but this, of course, is Granny Hitchin and Grandpa Hitchin. When I was a little guy, I got up at the crack of dawn and scooted next door to spend the morning with her. So yes, when she died when I was 5 or 6, I think. So I think I was devastated. Yeah.
And you still remember her?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The idea of looking at a bunch of people over time and how they evolve, that was a really nifty idea. It isn't a picture really of the essence of Nick or Susie. It's a picture of every man. It's how a person, any person, how they change. You know, just seeing me this age and the next age with more wrinkles and more... Oh.
Now, you want some water?
Do you want constant water here?
I am seriously ill. I have a cancer in my throat. And I don't know what the prognosis, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not really focused on the long-term future. I'm focused on fairly short-term futures at the moment. A lot of the treatments that I've been having are things that are not good for your blood. And I'd had a couple of them in rapid succession, I guess. And so, yeah, my blood's a bit thin at the moment. 10 days ago, I went in and had a blood test. And the nurse told me that the level of my hemoglobin was such that she expected me to be in a wheelchair.
I don't want to answer that. I don't answer those kind of questions.
I thought that one would come up because when I was doing the other one, somebody said, "What do you think about girls?" And I said, "I don't answer questions like that." Is that the reason you're asking it?
The best answer would be to say that I don't answer questions like that, but I mean, it was what I said when I was 7, and it's still the most sensible, but I mean, what about them?
I mean, if you'd been somebody who had fixed ideas of a woman's role in marriage that meant dinner on the table at 6 every evening.
Didn't I tell you about that?
By 28, Nick had married Jackie, a fellow student from Oxford.
We don't want to miss out on the chance of having a significant career, and we don't want to miss out on the chance to have kids and to be involved with them.
The moment of pure, unadulterated joy in my life was when my son was handed to me when he was born. I have never felt so optimistic, so just purely unworried about anything as that. It was just the strength. It was just, phew. So that's.
And did that last forever?
Well, no. I mean, no, he didn't.
And how's married life?
Well, me being very ill has certainly been a bit of a damper on things, but Chris is being actually a complete angel about it.
Over the years, Nick's research hit trouble, and by 42, he was forced to abandon it. Have I seen you since you lost your dad?
No. I loved my dad a lot, but he was an old man, and he was in his mid-80s. I mean, the last time I saw him, there wasn't much left of him. He was a tiny little frail thing who didn't have much to say. I don't...
Okay.
Don't know. I mean, you know me, Michael. I'm sure I haven't dealt with it fully.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it's full of emotion, always.
It's all the stuff that we repress as hard as we can, isn't it? But, yeah, it really is.
If I can change the world, I'd change it into a diamond.
I'm still the same little kid, really. Probably all of us are. I think I can relate to that little guy.
What has been the saddest thing?
I mean, right now, I'm struggling with being ill, and I'm very sad for the people who are being affected by that.
I don't know.
Life doesn't turn out the way I expect.
Are you frightened about it?
Not for myself, but for them a bit. Yeah, I'm frightened for them.